Hey folks, Ted from Nerd Immersion here, and we're going to do another build video. I released my top 10 multi-classes, and I think the one by and far that got the most interest was my concept of a scout rogue slash lore bard, skill monkey expert at various things. So that's what we're going to build today. So I'm going to jump over here to D&D Beyond. And before we get started, I just wanted to let you know, heads up, there's a link in the description for a Kickstarter that I am currently a designer on with Jetpack 7. It's called Blackstorm Realms. It's a space fantasy D&D setting, and it's got me involved as a creative kind of consultant to make sure everything's balanced as far as 5e goes. And hey, if we happen to raise $60,000 on that Kickstarter, then you get a subclass designed by me will end up in the book, which is pretty cool. So that being said, let's jump into this. So what we said was most important for this was to pick a race that gives you 2 skill proficiencies, because that will get you the most bang for your buck. So, we're kind of in a wonky spot at the moment as we build this because we don't know what's coming in Tasha's. We have a pretty good idea given what we saw for the Adventurers League, but as we've stated before, we don't know if the Adventurers League stuff is going to be a little on the lighter scale, and Tasha's will be a little more, you can go and swap out everything. So without knowing that, we can't really build it to the best of our ability, or we'll build it to the best of our ability now, mind that it might change with the stuff from Tasha's. So we have to pick a character or a race that's going to give us 2 skill proficiencies. So from what I can think of off the top of my head, that would be Half-Elf will do that for us. Tabaxi will do that for us. Orc will do that for us now. I don't know if Satyr does. Satyr will as well. Let's see. What do we think is a good idea for our super skillful person? Well, probably Dark Vision, because Dark Vision is one of the best things to have. You know what? I'm going to go with Tabaxi. That's not normally what I would choose, but we're going to be a dexterous race. So let's go with Tabaxi, right? That's going to give us, we'll just pick a random language here. We'll just pick Draconic. That's always what I go to. So let's go ahead and set up our ability scores now first. We're going to design it with standard array or point by at the moment, and then we'll roll some random stats at the end and see if anything changes. But this way, anybody could do it. It's probably, we're going to start at level 1, and we'll go all the way up to 20. So first of all, we know if we're going to multi-class, we're going to need to have 13 charisma and 13 dexterity if we can swing it. So we don't really need intelligence or strength. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make a 14 dex. We're going to go ahead and make a 15 charisma. We'll go ahead with a 13 wisdom, 12 con. Did I just standard array? 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8. Yeah, I just standard arrayed without even thinking about it. So I guess we could have just gone with standard array. Point by was useless in this instance. Well, either way, we have it. So we said we were going to start off with rogue, because that's going to get us the most skill proficiencies choices that we have already. So we want to try to get as many as we can. So we'll go ahead and take sleight of hand, acrobatics, we'll take deception, and we'll take investigation. We're going to expertise into, now we're not going to choose thieves tools because we want to try to get as many expertise and skills as we can. So we'll choose perception and stealth. Those seem like pretty good ideas there. Now, the only thing is in choosing Tabaxi, that is going to limit our options in what we can take as far as certain proficiencies, because we might be better off actually being a half-elf, because that might get us access to, I think, the feat Prodigy, which will help. So we may end up changing Tabaxi down the road. So first we'll just go 4 deep here, and for our roguish archetype, we are going to choose Scout, because Scout is going to give us nature and survival with basically expertise in it right out the gate. Now we'll go ahead here and we'll choose a background. We're just going to make up a custom background. We don't really care what it's called, but it's going to give us 2 skills, maybe 2 tools. Why not? And the rest doesn't actually matter because we can just choose any 2 skills. So let's go ahead with Arcana and History. And then we'll go ahead and choose, I don't know, Herbalism Kit and Poisoner's Kit. Why not? Okay. Now we're going to jump back to our class, and we're going to multi-class at this point now, and we're going to multi-class into Bard. So first of all, multi-classing into Bard is going to give us another proficiency of our choice, and a musical instrument, so we'll take a lute. And as far as proficiencies go, we shall take Animal Handling. Pretty good. We'll jump 3 levels into Bard, which is going to make us choose our Bardic College. We are going to go ahead and choose Lore, which is going to then give us an additional 3 skill proficiencies. So we'll choose Athletics, Insight, and Intimidation. We are really padding out that overall number here. And we get 2 more Expertise. So we'll go ahead and choose Investigation and Acrobatics. All right, let's jump back over to our Rogue, and let's jump ourselves all the way up to level 10 Rogue. That's going to go ahead and give us 2 more Expertise. Let's choose Insight, and I'm going to say Deception. And we have some ability score improvements right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and bump up our Dex a little bit, so we know we want that. I'm going to bump up our Bard to level 4 here, so we can go ahead and choose. Let's go ahead and bump our Dex again. We'll put our Dex at 20, which we just did. Go ahead and bump up our Charisma. Our Charisma will now be 18. That's pretty sweet. And we have another one down here. We're probably, should we go ahead and take Skilled now as a feat? I feel like we should. We'll go ahead and choose what's left as far as our proficiencies here. Let's see. Medicine. And then Performance. And Persuasion. Okay. We are moving along in our plan. So we know we want to go at least 1 more level in Rogue, because that's going to get us the ever-powerful, reliable talent, which means every skill we have proficiency in, if we roll and make a skill check, if it's a 9 or lower, it becomes a 10. And as you can see, we've built out a significant amount of skills at this point. So now we are level 11 Rogue. We are level 4 Bard. So I feel like at this point, we might as well go up to level 12 Rogue, grab ourselves another ability score improvement. And at this point, we have a bunch of different options for what we could take. I don't think any of these will actually give us skills, although we do have, we're not going to use the Unearthed Arcana ones at the moment, but we could take, we don't have actually Unearthed Arcana checked, but there is a, whatever it is, Expertise, Practiced Expert or whatever it's called, that'll give you another skill proficiency. And, you know, I hadn't thought about it, but you all reminded me, if we go ahead and take a level of Cleric and choose Knowledge Domain Cleric, that is going to give us 2 Cleric proficiencies. So we can go ahead and choose Religion. And then I think if we go ahead and choose Arcana, that's going to give us 1 back. Arcana was removed from our background. We go back to our background here. Let's choose a skill. Did we get every single skill? Hang on, let's go look. Did we do it already? We did. With that level of Cleric, we only needed, what do we need? 2 skills? With our level of Knowledge Domain Cleric, we needed... Do we only need 1, actually? We needed Religion. We actually only needed 1 skill. We didn't actually even need this level of Knowledge Domain. Now, you all brought it up to me because you said your proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check you make using either of those skills. So 1 level in Knowledge Domain Cleric gives you, in theory, 2 more Expertise as well. So what we can go ahead and do is... Actually, there's really no way to get rid of it. We just have like an extra ability, an extra feat just kind of floating out there. Or an extra skill proficiency that we just can't use for anything. I was trying to think if there was a way we could get like... Oh, you know what we could do? For our skilled feat, we can take a different... so down here in Bard, we can take a dip, we can take a proficiency here. So we had... What are our options? History. All right, so we're gonna have to do a little shuffling. So we got this from Lore Bard. Nope. We must have gotten it from level 1 Bard. Nope. Did we get it from here? How did we get that background? We got history here. Oh, so we're gonna choose history. We gotta, what am I trying to get rid of? I forgot now. We are trying to get rid of Arcana. It's chosen right there. So if we choose a knowledge domain, it's Arcana and Religion. And over here we have... Okay, hang on. I think we can make this work. So we go here to our skilled feat. We're going to go ahead and choose a different proficiency here. We'll choose Alchemist Supplies. So that will give us an option here. We could take Arcana. And if we go back here, we can choose Persuasion. There we go. Now we don't have anything wasted, and we got an extra skill proficiency. So at this point, we are level 15. We have expertise now in investigation, acrobatics. We have it in perception and stealth. We have it in insight, deception, nature, survival, and religion and arcana. And we have every single skill in the entire game proficient with. And we still have an ability score improvement to take at level 12. And we still have 3 more levels to gain in a given class. So at this point, we have an option to make, a choice to make. We could take 3 more levels of Bard and get us to level 7 Bard, which wouldn't be a bad thing. We could take 3 more levels of Cleric and get us to level 4 Cleric, getting another ability score improvement. We could take 3 more levels in Rogue, getting more sneak attack and some more other things. But we still have... Let's go look at what our ability scores are currently. We have 8, 20, 12, 10, 13, 18. So we could bump up our Wisdom. We could bump up our Charisma. We have some options here. So let's go back. You know what? I think I'm just going to go ahead and put our Charisma at 20. Oops, that broke the game. Oh, we broke D&D Beyond. Let's try that again. It's not this one. We got that one. So it's here. We're going to go ahead and choose ability score improvement. There we go. Charisma. Charisma. So now at this point, like I said, we have a couple different options. Like part of me is saying if we take a couple more levels in Rogue, we could get, let's see. I don't know if we can get, let's see, if we did 15 levels in Rogue, that'll get us Ambush Master, advantage on initiative rolls, Blind Sense, and Wisdom saving throw proficiency, which isn't a bad thing to have. If we take 1 more level in Bard, we get our Bardic Inspiration comes back on a short rest. We also would get Counter Charm, which is kind of pointless, but we get our extra magical secrets with 2 levels, and that's kind of a big deal, those extra magical secrets. So I'm thinking, yeah, we'll drop down to 13 here, and we could go ahead and put 2 levels or 3 levels here. That'll get us extra magical secrets, because I don't see the point in the extra level of Cleric. That'll give us what? Choose an action, you have proficiency with a skill or tool. Well, we don't really need that because we have all of them. So I'm going to keep Cleric at 1. And we have to re-choose our domains. Oh, we have to choose our languages. I don't know, Infernal and Orc. So yeah, I'm thinking we go ahead and put our levels here in Bard, so that'll give us Font of Inspiration, and again, 2 magical secrets to choose from any list. I don't know what we're gonna pick. Let's go ahead and choose probably Spirit Guardians, because it's the best spell in the game. Also, it depends on the how this is all gonna work out, because we still only have options for for Bard spells at this point, so I'm not really sure what we're gonna pick. I'm just gonna go ahead and grab. Oh, let's just say Mass Healing Word. That's not a great option, but it's an option. So now, if we go and check out our character, we have all of the expertise and all of the skills. Now, I'll mind you, we currently have a passive perception of 23, insight of 13, investigation of 22, and we don't have observant as a feat, which we could have taken in theory, and that would have put all of those at a +5. But if you look at this, this is probably one of the craziest characters I've ever built. Now, our ability score proficiencies are kind of spread. They're not great. If we rolled, we might have rolled better, and then that would have been okay. We still only have a 13 wisdom. It's a really funky build to build things out this way. We technically are still a tabaxi, I'll point that out, which does give us a climb speed, which is, we have our claws that can do some extra damage. We have our feline agility, so we can zip around a lot. We have some crazy proficiencies, too, from all the multi-classing. Light armor, medium armor, shields, crossbow, hand crossbow, longsword, rapier, short sword, simple weapons, alchemist tools, herbalism kit, loot, poisoner's kit, thieves tools, and then common, draconic, infernal, orc, and thieves cant all kind of built in there. And yeah, if you look, acrobatics expertise, arcana expertise, deception expertise, insight expertise, investigation expertise, nature expertise, perception expertise, religion expertise, stealth expertise, survival expertise. I'll also remind you that because of our levels in Rogue, we have reliable talent. So whatever the number in this column is, go ahead and add 10 to it, and that's the minimum you can roll on any one of these checks. Okay? That means like our lowest possible skill check in any given skill is a 15. We can't get below 15 on any skill checks that we make. And in theory, some of these, the lowest we can possibly get is 27. That's the minimum number as it stands right now, which is just insane to think about. And then again, I didn't even look at spells, right? So we're going to go ahead in here. We can take a look. So for Bard, we're going to have access to some cantrips. I don't know, Vicious Mockery. We might take Prestidigitation, Mage Hand. And then for our Cleric, we're obviously going to choose Guidance, which is going to, in theory, allow us to add a D4 to all of these rolls, which is pretty nutty in the grand scheme. We'll take Mending, and we'll take Toll the Dead. So that's a decent spread of cantrips that we have right there. We can only prepare 2 spells as a Cleric. I don't know, we also get, I forgot, Command, which is okay, but Identify automatically prepared, which is great because we don't need to take that now. We'll probably take Detect Magic and Bless. They don't require us to use our Wisdom modifier at all. And then for Bard, we've got a ton of spell options here. I mean, we've got a total of 9 known spells from 1st to 3rd level. So we'll go ahead and grab Leoman's Tiny Hut. That's a solid spell to always have. Let's see, what else do we want to grab as a Bard? Probably grab Healing Word. I don't really even know what this character's background really is, because we didn't really think that far ahead to figure it out. Take Hold Person, Shatter. I always love Suggestion and Phantasmal Force. What do we got left? 3 spells. We should take some other ones here. Let's go with Disguise Self. Should take another 3rd level spell, so we're not completely at a loss here. Oh, Dispel Magic. That's always good to have. I think we need one more invisibility. There we go. So now, if we go ahead and look here, we have 5 Bardic Inspirations, which are a D8 that come back on a short rest. We have Jack of all trades. It doesn't really come into play for our skills because we're proficient in everything, but it does count for things like initiative, which is nice because we're sitting at a +8 initiative with advantage. We have Song of Rest, which is a D6 extra healing on a short rest. We have all of our expertise. We do have Cutting Words, which is nice as a reaction to cut down an enemy's attack roll, ability check, or damage roll. We got Spirit Guardians and Mass Healing Word were the random magical secrets I picked. We have, again, our Cleric spells, which is basically the main reason we did that, again, was to get the expertise, but it also gave us Identify for free. We have Sneak Attack of 76 damage. We can dash, disengage, or hide as a bonus action. We have Skirmisher, so if someone ends their turn within 5 feet of you, you can use your reaction to move half of your movement speed away without provoking attacks of opportunity. Our movement speed is 40. We have Uncanny Dodge to cut damage down as a reaction. Evasion to also keep us in the fight. Superior Mobility increases our movement speed by 10. Again, if we go ahead and click our speed, we do have a climb speed of 30 because of our Tabaxi claws. We have Reliable Talent again, so everything is a minimum of a 10. We also have Ambush Master, which is advantage on initiative rolls and attack rolls against the first creature you hit during the first round of combat until the start of your next turn. We have Tabaxi's Dark Vision. We have the Feline Agility, which is when you move, you can double your speed until you don't move again. And we have our Cat's Claws, which gives us a D4, again, -1, and then the 2 proficiencies, and Skilled as a feat. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and put in any proficiency, any kind of magic items, because really, I don't know what we would be looking for. We'd probably be looking for something like an Amulet of Health, right? Oh, we can mess around a little bit because we have full options here. We could go ahead and take an Amulet of Health, right? That'll go ahead and knock up our Constitution to a 19, give us some more hit points. And then we could always do a Headband of Intellect because it's uncommon, and for us, given our current situation, that's gonna just jump up all of our skills even further. So we're in a really good spot with our skill checks that we would be, again, our primary purpose is to be good at skill checks. And then if we wanted to be really nutty, we could go ahead and look at the Ion Stones, because there are some Ion Stones like that, like the lesser ones that are like +1 to checks, +1 bonus to checks with that skill if you're already proficient. But we could take something like the Ion Stone of Mastery, I think it is. No. Yeah, your proficiency bonus increases by 1 while this thing orbits your head, which would be really crazy to get, because I don't know how much things would like truly change. Everything would go up by 1, obviously, but that's, you know, it's is it just yeah, proficiency bonus, which is crazy, but what I think is that's like a less realistic of an option. But what is realistic is a Stone of Good Luck, which is uncommon. So we can go ahead and grab the Stone of Good Luck and add that, and add a +1 to all of our ability checks and our saving throws. So as it stands right now, with those 3 items, 2 of them are uncommon, 1 is rare. Not probably unreasonable to get over a 20 level character. Again, we have some pretty nutty scores in here. I mean, look at this. It's a 36. We could be getting a 38 on our acrobatics. Plus, we could have had maybe put guidance on ourselves and added a D4 to that, which in this instance would have been 2 to add to that to make it even better. Again, that's not including other things that we could get, something like, say, Pass Without a Trace, adding a +10 to stealth checks. We could, again, potentially, if we wanted to go mess around with the equipment a little bit, go ahead and get Gloves of Thievery, right? That's going to make our sleight of hand check go from a 12 to a 17. So even though we're not expertise in sleight of hand, it's now a 17, and our skill, our lock-picking checks are off the crazy through the roof. So this is the build. This is, again, something I was just trying in my head. How could we get every single proficiency? We managed to do this with the Tabaxi. Again, you could do this probably with a full-blooded orc. You could do this with a half-elf. And again, I can't remember if half-elf gives you access to the Prodigy feat, which is like choose a skill or a tool and get proficiency and expertise in it. So it may be a way to get another access to expertise. And again, if the Unearthed Arcana feat was allowed, the Practice Expert or whatever it's called, that's another way to get another expertise in there as well. So let's go ahead and roll those stats real quick. We'll do it right here on D&D Beyond so you guys can watch. So that is a 11. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this tab real quick. And we'll go edit this character. So we have an 11. So let's go ahead and put in, see if we could even do it if we just manually rolled. So we've got 11 here in strength. Go ahead and roll again, 46. Drop the lowest. Another a 10. We can put that in intelligence. Oops. All right, come on, baby. Let's see if we could even do what we're trying to do here. Okay, that was a 17. I'll go ahead and drop that in dexterity. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is a 14. Go ahead and drop that in charisma. 2 more. 2, 3, 4. That is a 9. Oof. We're going to go put the 9 in strength, and we'll move our 11 to constitution. And our last roll here. 1, 2, 3, 4. A 14. So we'll go ahead and put our 14 in wisdom. So that is going to change things around a little bit. So if we go and look at our final character now, we'll see what we have. We do still have our 19 constitution and intelligence, but we have a 19 charisma. But we could go ahead and change, because we put in a lot of points to dexterity that was unnecessary now. So let's see. We started with a 17. Actually, do we start with a 19 dexterity? 17 plus 2 from the race puts us at 19. Yeah. So we could go ahead and take this first ability score, make it +1 dex, +1 charisma, and that should put us at 20 and 20. And I think we can salvage a whole ability score in the middle there, because this one is dexterity, charisma. This one was dexterity, dexterity. Yeah, so we'd actually gain, with what we rolled there, we'd gain an extra ability score back. So we could take another feat if we wanted to, add something interesting to our character. I'm just going to go ahead and dump those into wisdom, just because now it's just going to, again, continue to drive up all of these ability scores that we've got here, because we happen to roll a 14 on that instance. That gave us a positive, an even ability score in wisdom, which jumped the numbers up 1, and we jumped it up higher. So now we're sitting at a 26 passive perception, a 26 insight, and a 27 investigation. Overall, our skills are still ridiculously through the roof. Again, making a stealth check with an 8 is a 20. Well, it's 26, but unfortunately it doesn't auto round up. So it's 26, but actually it's 28 because we rolled less than that. Again, here's an insight check. That's going to show a 20, but an insight check's actually a 26. Yeah, because of these crazy things. I couldn't believe it. I didn't think it was actually that easy to get every single... all we were missing was two proficiencies. And now look at this. I mean, this would be a crazy character. Obviously, you're probably not going to play this game to level 20, because it's not I'm not going to say it doesn't happen, because I've been corrected by people every time I say, you'll never make it to 20. And then people are like, well, my character's at level 20. Yes, okay. Congratulations, you're living the dream. But for most of us, no, we're not going to get a chance to play our characters to level 20. So I don't really know how this would work in practice. This isn't a hypothetical build vacuum where we don't have to play through this character level by level to get them to this point. But in theory, in a build world, this is actually a pretty solid character overall. I mean, with a couple of, we rolled well again, but even if we didn't roll, just with the ability scores we used from standard array, we did pretty good overall. We didn't actually add any equipment to this character, but we could go ahead and say throw on, I don't know, studded leather armor real quick, and then we could add, we get a short bow. Yeah, so we can take a short bow, studded leather armor. Our AC is now 17. We got a plus 11 to hit with our bow. So we're still a decent character overall, just like what we could do with what our ability scores are. We still have, again, sneak attack. We have a handful of different spells. We could actually now prepare extra cleric spells, 2 more cleric spells, because we raised those numbers up. So as far as extra cleric spells we'd prepare during the day, probably Shield of Faith, and I don't know. I'll just choose Create Food and Water. I don't know, just because I was grabbing stuff that doesn't really require us to use our Wisdom, even though our Wisdom is a 16 now, so we're not really in a bad spot. This character has a lot going for it, it's at first I thought, like, in my head, building this character out, like, it would kind of be shitty because just the way things would work with a triple multi-class. And obviously, again, you could raise or lower your bard levels and raise your rogue levels if you wanted to try and even things out, get yourself access to a couple more roguish things. But for the most part, like, this character wouldn't be bad. And again, I rolled pretty decently here when I rolled, in the character roller app. But I'd be curious, would you play this character? Again, I don't know how the level breakdown would go. We kind of did 3, and then we did 3, and we bounced around a little bit. I don't know how, like I said, how it would feel to play this character in-game, like multi-classing 3 times, and depending on how your DM wants you to try to flavor your multi-classing, if they ask for that, that could be an interesting, like, why did you just randomly take a level in Knowledge Cleric out of nowhere and then just abandon it? I don't know. That comes down to, role-playing and whether your DM cares about making that part of the story. But overall, with those couple of magic items, this character is pretty insane with the amount of things they'd be able to do and do well. Like, you would be the skill monkey for sure. You have more expertise than most people will ever see. Again, if we changed it up and picked a different race, we could have a different class. We could have picked something unique and gotten even more expertise in different abilities. But I didn't even really think about this too hard. But we got probably the more solid ones that you would want to use expertise in. You'd probably either want acrobatics or athletics, depending on what kind of character you're playing for escaping from grapples. Arcana is always good for identifying kind of magic items. Deception for lying. Insight for telling if people are lying. Investigation and perception are kind of a given. Those are the ones you really want to have because they're going to let you find traps and look for things, secret doors. High passive perception will tell if people are hiding. Nature and survival kind of fit the background of the character, being a scout, being good at outdoors. Survival's great at tracking. Religion, I feel like religion is one that can either come up a lot in your campaign or not at all, depending on how it works, and you're going to be super good at that. And then stealth, again, one of the other super important skill checks that you will make probably pretty consistently. And again, we've got advantage on initiative checks and a +9 initiative. We're going to be going relatively early in most combats. Because of our good ability scores, our saving throws weren't that bad either. So this is a pretty interesting character overall. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Would you play this character? How do you think you would go about building it out if you were to go like actually in game? Would it be 3 levels of rogue, and then would you go to bard? Would you go more rogue and then switch to bard? I guess that's also tricky to think about because it also will dictate what options you have, right? So the earlier you take bard levels, the earlier you will have access to spell casting, which may or may not be important to you. I don't know. What do you think about the way I broke down the different feats and things that I took? What would you take? You could take tough and then really pad out your HP and do better that way. I don't know. So anyway, thank you again, everyone, for watching. Thank you to my patrons over on Patreon for continuing to support me and the channel. I will see you all next time.